Would you like to learn how to smoke some delicious barbecue ribs in the oven? Just like this? Well, in this episode of the Lisa D. Delight Show, I'm going to show you how to make some super yummy smoked barbecue ribs in the oven. We're going to use some honey, some brown sugar, and some other yumminess. You make your smoked barbecue ribs like this, it's guaranteed to be off the chain. LDD family, I am elated to bring you this recipe because I have got my new favorite cookbook. Best of both worlds, the collab you never knew you needed. These two amazing internet chef influencers collabed and made an awesome cookbook. I made a few things from it already and everything was the bomb.com. Most of you probably know both of them already. Smokin and Grillin with AB. AB's great-grandmother was a head chef at a hospital and she taught him how to cook. And now he's here on the internet teaching us how to cook and taking the mystery out of cooking. I'm not gonna overtalk it. And then you probably also know Mr. Make It Happen. His father taught him how to cook. And then in his 20s, he just really got a love for cooking. He became like the go-to guy for his friends. They always wanted him to cook because his food was so banging. Food is his love language, just like me. And he just loves to make it happen. They have so many yummy recipes in this cookbook. I was just amazed when I got it. Everything looks so good. I didn't even know what to cook first. Gumbo. And I love it because it has so many different varieties up in here. Surf and turf. Oh my God, look how good that looks. Fried chicken. Jambalaya. Woo, look at that. Lamb chops. Smoked brisket. Jerk chicken. But today we're going to be making these smoked barbecue ribs. Look how delicious they look. Oh my God. You guys really need to pick up their cookbook. They both are amazing chefs and I've learned so much from them.
Lisa D. Delight.
LDD family, you hungry? Let's please some palates. As usual, your ingredients and measurements and such will be in the description box below. When purchasing your ribs, you always want to look for a good amount of marbling on the meat. The white lines are fat, and where there's fat, there's flavor. To all my big girls out there and boys like me, you can take that as a personal compliment. You're welcome. The first thing we want to do is to remove the membrane or the silver skin from the back of the ribs. The reason we want to remove it is because it just cock blocks the seasoning flavor. Pause. By removing it, we're going to allow the seasoning and the smoke flavor to penetrate freely and easily throughout the ribs. If left on, once it cooks, it's going to turn into a tough, rubbery situation, and we don't want that. Unless chewing rubber is your thing. Hey, and leave it on. I was just trying to help your palate. To get it up off of there, just take a knife and slice through the membrane. And then get a butter knife and try to get up in between the membrane and the meat. Get a little space and then take a paper towel so that you can grip it and peel it back like so. It's really not that hard. These ribs will be perfect for Labor Day coming up. But if you live someplace hot as heck like me, it has been triple digits in Dallas. Child. Ain't nobody trying to go out there in all that heat to smoke no ribs, child. It's so hot, I heard they asked the Statue of Liberty to put her arm down. I know, I'm corny as hell, but oh well. So a trick to getting the smoke flavor into your ribs is to use some liquid smoke. Liquid smoke pretty much mimics that smoky flavor that you get when you cook your ribs on a smoker or on a grill. You can find liquid smoke in most supermarkets. But you don't really need too much. A little bit goes a long way. And believe it or not, liquid smoke is actually healthier than smoked and grilled meats because they say that grilled charred barbecue meats can give you cancer. But child, that ain't stopping me. You gotta die of something. Some people like to use mustard on their ribs as a binder, but me personally, I like to use the liquid smoke and the Worcestershire sauce. However you say that name, sauce, you know what I'm talking about. It gives your ribs that nice, savory, delicious flavor. Pretty much, I'm never really able to follow a recipe exactly. I'm always like looking for ways to put my little spin on it, to make it a little better, put that little Lisa D sauce on it. So if you want Smoking and Grilling with AB and Mr. Make It Happen's exact recipe for these ribs, you're going to have to drop a little coin and pick up the book. But pretty much this recipe is similar to theirs. Smoking and Grilling with AB, he just came out with his own seasoning. Yes, and I got it the other day. I'm so excited. I made some barbecue chicken with it, and the barbecue chicken was off the chain. So I know these ribs are gonna come out good too. His seasoning is called Level Up. He actually has two flavors. He calls it the A and B seasonings. I got the A, and the A is good on pork, poultry, fish, and more. And then he has a B seasoning. I don't know why I didn't get that one too. I should have got the B too, because the B is good on brisket, ribs, burgers, and more. But because I tried the A already, I know that it's well balanced and super flavorful. I know it will also be good on these ribs that we're about to make. This seasoning has salt and garlic, onion, paprika, and other spices. You guys should really try it. It's thebomb.com. I'll put the link in my description box so you can pick you up some. Mr. Make It Happen, he also has his own seasoning. That is delicious too. That's next up on my to-do list. I'll put his link in my description box as well so you can grab you some. You're welcome. Now it's time to level up. Level up, level up, level up. I like to season the back of the ribs first and then do the presentation side last. And pretty much on the back of the ribs, I go kind of lightly because the meat is really on the top part of the ribs. So I go lightly on the back and more heavily on the top of the ribs. Now we're just going to repeat everything that we did on the back of the ribs. We're going to now do it for the top of the ribs. If you would like to smoke your ribs on a smoker, I actually did a video for that. I smoked some delicious ribs on my Pit Boss pellet smoker. They came out so delicious. You can check that recipe out above. Yeah, so Smoking and Grilling with AB and Mr. Make It Happen, they are so inspiring to me because they started right here on YouTube. Well, Mr. Make It Happen, I think he started on Twitter, but they started here and now they are doing big things. AB has his own restaurant. I think he's working on his second restaurant. The two of them are talking about food trucks and this and that. I'm just so impressed and so proud of them. When I grow up, I want to be like them. And what I really love about AB is that he's so down to earth and so personable. I've actually reached out to him behind the scenes and he reached back at me and gave me advice and tips. So he's not scared to give the little people coming up behind him some help. He believes that there's enough room out here for all of us. So I really appreciate that. AB even has a podcast now and it's amazing. I'll put the link to his podcast in my description box. And also, I'll put the link to Mr. Make It Happen's YouTube channel and AB's YouTube channel in my description box. If any of you guys aren't subscribed to them, please subscribe and support. They're really amazing. Then you want to press the seasoning down into the ribs so that it can be up and it's stuck. It's best to then tightly wrap your ribs with aluminum foil so that the flavors and the seasoning can be trapped and penetrate into the meat and have no way to escape. And then let the ribs marinate in the refrigerator overnight.
Many hours later.
So it's the next morning and I found my large baking dish and I'm just gonna line it with foil because ain't nobody got time to be scrubbing no pans, child. Preheat your oven to 250 degrees and then we're gonna go down with a little aromatics, some sliced oranges and sliced onions or tangerines. And I just love the little citrus zing flavor that the oranges give the ribs. You taste it in the background slightly. And the onions just add an even more savory flavor. And then add a little liquid smoke and apple juice on top of the oranges and the onions. This will allow our ribs to steam/smoke. We're gonna smoke these ribs low and slow, and you can tell all the love that I'm putting into these ribs, so you already know how bussin' they came out. Then just lay those babies on top of those aromatics and go in with some brown sugar. I'm using Demerara brown sugar. It's just a fancy brown sugar, child. Any old regular old brown sugar will work just fine. Yup, sure will. And next, find you a stick of butter and cut up about a little bit more than half of the stick. Cut it up into pats. And then lay the pats of butter down the center of the ribs, just like so. And then go in with some honey. We're here for a good time. Your hips will not mind, and your booty will be just fine. At least at first. I said what I said. Then we're gonna tightly wrap our ribs, nice and snug and tight, so that no steam can escape. We want all the steam to stay inside the pan so that it will smoke our ribs. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and double foil the pan just to make sure that no steam at all escapes.
Lisa D Delight.
After your oven has preheated to 250 degrees, you want to place the ribs in the lowest rack of your oven, and then we're going to allow the ribs to smoke at 250 degrees for 2 hours. 2 hours later. I had to fill in for SpongeBob. He's on FMLA. After 2 hours, this is what the ribs are looking like. Super yummy already, and we're not even finished yet. So the ribs are done when it reaches an internal temperature of 190 to 203 degrees. If you don't own a food thermometer, I highly suggest that you get one. Mr. Make It Happen actually sells a really nice one. My son actually only likes ribs that have like a little bite to it. He doesn't like the fall off the bone type ribs. He's like a big texture person, so if it's too mushy, he doesn't like it. Me, I'm fat, so I like it either way, long as it's seasoned and it tastes good, child. But you know I had to look out for the young king, so I made these ribs with a little bite to it. So that means that I only cooked them for 2 hours, which, you know, made it have a little bite, not fall off the bone. But if you like your ribs fall off the bone, then you want to go ahead and cook your ribs for 3 hours. Then go ahead and add your favorite barbecue sauce. Mine is Sweet Baby Ray's. I love that stuff. Tell me in the comments what's your favorite barbecue sauce. I don't really add sauce to the back of the ribs because, like I said, there isn't much meat back there anyway. So I only put the sauce on the tippity top. Now we're gonna raise the temperature to 350 degrees, and we're gonna cook the ribs for 20 more minutes, allowing the sauce to get all caramelized and yummy.
Lisa D Delight.
My God, forever. Look at these ribs. Child, look. When I tell you that these ribs will slap your mama good, I ain't got to lie, Craig. And thank you to my Lord and Savior for always blessing me and the LDD family. Father God, we love you, praise you, adore you, and can do nothing without you. Now, God said we have got to take a moment of silence for all this deliciousness up in here. Thank you so much for watching. And always remember, when you cook from your heart with love, you can't go wrong. Have a delicious and delightful day. God bless you. Bye.
Subscribe, damn, you make that food look so good. Make sure you like and subscribe. Damn, you make that food look so good. Make sure you like and subscribe. Damn, you make that food look so good. Make sure you like and subscribe.